Hi, and welcome to the Green Moxie Cooking channel. Today we are attempting the impossible. We are going to cook an entire Thanksgiving meal on the campfire. I would not suggest you do this if you've got a long hike into the woods, but if you're going to a woods near you, it's the perfect way to spend Turkey Day. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spatchcock our chicken. Cut the backbone out and break the breastbone so that it lies flat, and that should reduce your cooking time by about 70 to 80%. So we're going to take our spatchcocked turkey and we're going to place it in a roasting pan for the first little while. Because if you put it straight on the fire, the outside will burn before the inside is cooked. And then we're going to season it. Salt and pepper. Cover it in foil. And pop it on the fire. So you should put the shiny side down so that it absorbs more heat. Okay, we're just gonna check on the turkey here. And what we want to do is just turn it over so it can cook on the other side. There you go. Looking good. So we're just going to check the temperature of the turkey now to make sure it's done. 165 should be your ideal temperature, and you want to check at the thigh, and the breast, and at the wing. Be careful not to touch the bone with the probe, because then you may get a false reading. Yeah, and we're good to go. Now we're going to move the turkey onto the coals, just to brown it a little. There we go. Okay. So we're going to forage some of this watercress for our salad. It grows in most clear, healthy streams, and you can just pick it and rinse it off and enjoy it. For our salad, we're also going to forage some of these dandelion greens. Dandelions have wonderful gold flowers and edible leaves. You can make a tea out of them as well. When you forage things from the river or from the fields, please make sure that you wash it really well, because you don't want your dinner guests to have bugs or dirt on their salad. I got some arugula here from my vegetable garden and some tomatoes too, and we're going to add to that the watercress and the dandelion that we foraged, and we're going to make a simple dressing from vinegar and olive oil and a little seasoning, and just keeping the salad simple because there's a lot on the menu tonight. So we're just thinly slicing our field tomatoes and putting them in the salad. When you forage things from the woods, they tend to have a very strong flavor, so you don't need a strong salad dressing, and if you just keep it simple, then you'll have a nice balance of flavors. If you put on a very flavorful dressing, it may be overwhelming with all the different flavors. So there you go, a lovely foraged salad. Here we have our corn soaking in the stream. We soak the corn in the stream so that the sheaths will protect it when we put it on the coals. That way the corn cooks through without burning. Our corn's been cooking nicely and it's ready to come off now. So we're just gonna take it off, let it cool, and then we'll peel it. So next we're gonna make some candied yams. What you wanna do is peel your yams and then cut them into thin slices. And then to that we're gonna add a half a cup of white sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and a quarter cup of butter, and then we're going to let them cook in a skillet with the lid on for about 30 to 40 minutes until the sugar has gone dark and the yams are candied. So we buttered our skillet, and now we're going to place the sliced yams into our cast iron skillet. We're going to sprinkle the yams with our sugar and dot with butter. Now you do want to be stirring this quite regularly while it's cooking, just to mix this all up and make sure that it's not sticking on the bottom. And you really want to keep your coals really cool for this one. Low and slow is what you're looking for. So this is half a cup of brown sugar and half a cup of white sugar, which we put in a Ziploc bag just because it's easier to transport in your backpack. Now I'm just gonna dot these with butter, mix it well, and place it on the fire. So we're gonna check our yams, our candied yams, and those are perfect. You can see they're nice and glossy, and the sauce has gone a really dark color. These can come off. So with our turkey dinner, we're going to make roast potatoes. And in order to do that, we're first going to cook the potatoes in the actual coals. So what you need to do is you need to wrap them in a double layer of foil. Leave the shiny side in so that the dull side is on the out. And you just wrap them and throw them in fairly cool coals and cook them for about 20 minutes on each side. So we're going to take this nice oil from the turkey, and we're going to put it back on the coals. Then we're going to peel our baked potatoes and brown them in this oil. For our next trick, we're going to make pumpkin pie. We're going to use a Dutch oven for this recipe, and I know that's not really practical if you're doing backcountry camping. If you want to make a pie in your backcountry camping, you can make it in your camp mug, use a little foil over the top, and you create a kind of Dutch oven atmosphere in there that really works. Another thing to do is to use your cooking pot and put that over your mug. Make a small pie in the mug, put the cooking pot over, and again you've got heat on the top and bottom. Today we're going to make it in the Dutch oven. What I always do before I leave home is I put the dry ingredients in a Ziploc bag, because it takes up so little space, it lays flat, and it means less work when you get here. Now in this bag is a half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of flour, and you want to have a little bit of extra flour just for rolling the dough. So I'm going to put the flour and salt mixture into my bowl, and then I'm going to add half a cup of shortening. I like using vegetable shortening because it does give a flaky crust, but it also means you don't have to refrigerate the shortening. Just be careful if you're going on backcountry camping and it's a hot day, because the shortening will melt. So keep it in a cool spot in your pack. You can also wrap it in newspaper, which helps to insulate it. And then I like to use the newspaper to stop my fire, so that's handy. So you just want to rub it with your fingertips until it looks like breadcrumbs. And then to this, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of cold water. Now the colder you keep the pastry and the water, the flakier and lighter your pie crust will be. So now we're just going to add our water and mix it in until it is a nice firm pastry that is not sticky. Now I'm going to roll the dough out. I use my water bottle, but I mean you could take a rolling pin if you want. I just find that I want to take as little as possible. And you want it to roll it really thin, and then you just pop it into the bottom of your Dutch oven. So once our dough is nicely rolled out, we're just going to pop it in the bottom of this Dutch oven, which we have greased, of course, with some butter, but you could use oil or the vegetable shortening, and just put it up the sides a little, so you're making a nice pie shell for your filling to go in. And there you go. You got a perfect pie shell for your filling. So now we're going to make the filling for our pumpkin pie, and that requires 2 eggs and a cup of pumpkin, and you can use canned pumpkin. You can make this puree yourself. If you've made Halloween pumpkins, you can definitely make this yourself. And into that we're going to put a can of condensed milk and some dry ingredients. You can either use pumpkin spice, or you can add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I have in this handy little bag here. And then you just mix it all together and pop it in your pie crust. Then you're going to bake it in your Dutch oven with the lid on and some coals on the lid for about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how hot your fire is, but try for a medium coal. What I do is I make a fire and a cooking pit separately, so I can move the coals over, and that way regulate the temperature just a little bit better. So we're just going to mix this until it's really well mixed, and then pop it in our pie crust. Right, let's take a look at our pumpkin pie, see how that's doing. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit longer just to brown. Nearly done. Let's check on our pumpkin pie and see how that's doing. Should be almost ready by now. Oh yeah, the crust is nice and browned, and the center is nice and solid. So we'll take that off now.